Hello, welcome to Basics of Finite Element Analysis MOOC course. Today is the last day of the current week, and what we plan to do today is continue the discussions which we had in last couple of classes by actual examples, that is in context of some specific differential equation which we are going to solve using this weak formulation approach. So, that is what we are going to do. So, the equation we are going to solve is this one. And the equation is such that the domain is from 0 to 1, and then we will solve this equation for two sets of boundary conditions. In the first set of boundary conditions, u naught is equal to 0, u at 0 is equal to 0, and u at 1 is equal to 0. In the second set of BCs, u at 0 is equal to 0, but at x is equal to 1, the derivative of u is 0. So, the first step is that I express this equation. So, first thing we do is that we see what kind of differential equation is this. So, we see that the equation is linear in u because all the powers of u are 1, there is no u square or u cubic term, right. So, this is first thing is it is a linear equation. The second thing is that the order of this differential equation is 2. Okay. So, we had seen earlier that if the equation is of an even order and if it is linear, then we can create a bilinear symmetric functional for it. So, what is that functional? And this is equal to so this is BW. How do we get this? Basically, we are integrating, we are multiplying the error with a weight function W and integrating this thing by parts. So, we get this thing, right, and then this u corresponds to W times u. So, this is the bilinear functional associated with this differential equation, and the linear functional associated with this differential equation is L of W, and that equals minus integral from 0 to 1 W x square dx plus some boundary terms which are if you are not sure of how we get this, is basically you again follow the same process which we have explained several times earlier also, that you multiply this whole equation by W, integrate it with respect to x, integrate it by parts, and you will get this form. Okay. So, this L functional will give us the F vector or the forcing vector, and the B functional will give us the n by n matrix. Okay. So, the second step is that we choose phi j, and initially we are going to choose phi j's that are consistent with these boundary conditions. First set, for first set of BCs. So, we had said that the shape functions or the approximation functions should be such that the values of those functions should vanish at points where the primary variable is specified. Now, in this case the primary variable is specified at u equals 0 and at x is equal to 0 and at x is equal to 1. Okay. So, we will choose functions which meets both these requirements. So, this is what we are going to choose. Phi 1 is equal to x times 1 minus x. This is 0 at both ends. Phi 2 is equal to x square 1 minus x. Phi 3 x cube 1 minus x, and phi n is equal to x n 1 minus x. So, in general I can write it as phi I is equal to x to the power of I 1 minus x. Okay. One condition we had also mentioned when we were picking up these functions was that none of these functions should be a linear combination of others. So, we have to verify whether this is true in this case or not, and what we see is that I cannot express any of these functions in terms of other functions, right. So, that condition is satisfied. A third condition which I had not mentioned earlier was that this should be a complete set. What does that mean? That if I am choosing phi 1 as this, phi 2 as this, and I am going up to phi n, I cannot say that I will not choose phi 3. So, whatever comes in the natural sequence of things, I have to choose that complete set of functions, because if I do not choose complete set of functions, I may inject some inaccuracies in my solution. Okay. So, I have to choose a complete set starting from the lowest possible order and going up to whatever degree I want to go. Okay. So, three things: they should meet, they should be, these functions should be homogeneous at known points, at points where u is known. Second is it should be a complete set, and the third one is that these functions should be not linear combinations of each other. So, now using this I calculate my B matrix and L vector. Okay. So, my u n, if it is an n term solution, is equal to C j phi j, j is equal to 1 to n, and if I put this so the overall equation is this thing. So, put it in this equation, equation 1, this is equation 2. So, we put this is 3. So, put 3 in 1 to get 0 to 1. So, why I am integrating from 0 to 1? Because the domain is 0 to 1. If it was 0 to L, then accordingly I have to integrate. So, 0 to 1 integral of d phi I over d x times d phi j over d x times C j, j is equal to 1 to n, minus phi I phi j times C j, and I am going to put a bracket around it, that is why I have erased it, not that there was something wrong, dx. Okay. So, the entire thing is being summed over in these j, and this is equal to 0 to L minus phi I x square dx plus, oh sorry, 0 to 1, and plus I get this boundary term, and let us look at this boundary term. So, u times u prime at x is equal to 0 minus, no excuse me, at x is equal to 1 minus w u prime at x is equal to 0. Okay. So, let us see these boundary terms. At x is equal to 1, all these functions are 0. So, this and this is how we had chosen the nature of functions. So, this is 0, and at x is equal to 0 also this is 0. So, both these boundary terms in brackets they vanish, because the boundary conditions related to the primary variable is known at both the endpoints, which may not be the case in the second case where u is prescribed at x is equal to 0, but it is not prescribed at x is equal to 1. Okay. So, that is there. So, from this we can calculate this B matrix, okay, and this C vector, and this is equal to F. So, for simplicity purposes, let us say n is equal to 2. Suppose we want to develop a 2 by 2 equation. Bij is equal to integral of So, everyone understands how we get Bij, right? It is basically, it is the same thing. Okay. So, this is how I get Bij, and the force vector is related to integral of phi I times x square, and while calculating Bij I substitute these phis with the assumed functions which are phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 and so on and so forth. So, I can calculate fairly easily the terms which are in B matrix, and for calculating force it is integral of minus phi I x square dx. Okay. And we know that what is phi I? Phi I equals, what was our assumed function? X to the power of I times 1 minus x. So, that is equal to x to the power of I minus x to the power of I plus 1. So, I can substitute these things, this relation in these equations, and I can very easily calculate the B matrix and the F matrix. Okay. So, because this I can also write d phi over dx is equal to I times x to the power of I minus 1 minus I plus 1 x to the power of I. So, I make all these substitutions in this, and I can calculate my B matrix. So, I get for a 2 by 2 system, I get this 2 by 2 system, and I can calculate from this. So, here f is known because I know phi I and I can integrate it. So, f is known. Also these b's are known, the only unknowns are C1 and C2. So, I can calculate C1 and C2 in terms of f and B matrix. Okay. Once I know C's, then what is my what is the original unknown? U, right. So, then I use C's, Cj and Vj to calculate u over the domain. So, then I can calculate the value of u at any point in the system. So, u for an n term solution is Cj Vj j is equal to 1 to n. We have done some calculations, and it will be worthwhile for you to go back to your homes and see how you get these numbers, that for n is equal to 2, the overall equation is this. So, this was for first set of boundary conditions, when u was 0 at x is equal to 0 and at x is equal to 1. But we said that there we will also solve it for the second set of boundary conditions. So, this is a different problem. Here u is specified at x is equal to 0, but it is not specified at x is equal to 1, right. Rather its differential u1 prime is specified at x is equal to 1. So, we will solve this problem also. So, in the second set of boundary conditions, we had said that u was 0 at x is equal to 0 and the derivative of u du over dx was 0 at x equals 1. So, in this case at x is equal to 0, the primary variable is specified. So, we have an essential boundary condition which is specified, and at x equals 1 a natural boundary condition is specified, and the associated secondary variable is du over dx. So, again how do we do this? We go back to the original differential equation, develop its weak form. So, we will again go back to the weak form. So, I will rewrite it 0 to 1 because our domain is, and this was dw over dx, du over dx, dx minus is equal to minus w x square dx integral 0 to 1 plus w u prime from 0 to 1. I can expand this by breaking it up into two parts, one at value at 1, one at value at 0. So, that is what I will do. So, at 1 and then minus w u prime at 0, and we know that at u is equal to 0 when x is 0. Okay. Excuse me. So, at x is equal to 0, u is 0, which means the variation of u at x is equal to 0 is 0, right. So, this part goes away. So, this term vanishes. The other thing is that I have specified du over dx is, which is slope at x is equal to 0. So, this part becomes 0. If this part was some non-zero number, then we would have put that number here. Okay. Then we would have put that number here. Suppose this number was 2, slope was specified as 2, then we would have put the value 2 here. It is not that all the boundary condition terms always vanish, it just happens in this case. So, but in this case it is 0. So, I do not even have to worry about this second boundary condition, because I have specified it, and by specifying it I have taken it off from the equation. Okay. So, that is there. So, this is the equation we have to satisfy. and the only thing is that, so what do we do next? We choose appropriate approximation functions. Okay. So, let un is equal to Cj phi n suppose this is an n term solution, and what kind of a approximation function do we choose which ensures that its variation is 0 at x is equal to 0, but its value should not be 0 at x is equal to 1. Okay. So, we can choose phi 1 is equal to x, phi 2 is equal to x square, phi I is equal to x to the power of I, and phi n is equal to x to the power of n. So, the derivative of phi I prime, that is, it will be equal to I times x to the power of I minus 1. So, I put this information and this information back into equation A, and then I get, once again I get a B matrix times a C matrix, C vector is equal to a F vector. And what is my Bij? Bij oh, there is something I missed. In this relation it was W times U dx. So, Bij is integral of 0 to 1 phi I prime phi j prime minus phi I phi j dx. And the F vector is defined as 0 to 1 minus phi I x square dx. So, using this we can calculate different elements of B. Suppose I take an n term solution, I get n equations, and once again when I assumed my phis, I again made sure of that the three requirements were met. The first requirement is that the primary variable is vanishing at x is equal to 0, so that is being satisfied. It is not necessarily vanishing at x is equal to 1, same is true for my functions. Second condition was that linearly independent, and the third thing was that it should be a complete set. So, I have not omitted any intermediate terms, I am taking all the terms starting from the lowest possible term. So, with that I conclude today's discussion, and what we have discussed today and also in the last class is how Rayleigh-Ridge approach works. What we will discuss in next 2-3 classes are some other approaches for solving these equations, but there we will not rely so much on the weak form, but strong form of the solution. And with this we conclude this week's discussion. Have a great weekend and thank you very much.